Welcome back to the deep dive. This week, we're jumping straight into the crypto headlines from May 12th to the 19th, 2025. Think of this as, getting you up to speed on what really mattered last week and why you should maybe care.
Right. And we've got sources covering, well, quite a range. Everything from like big companies going mainstream to new regulations popping up.
And even, yeah, some security worries too. It's always moving fast, isn't it?
Always. It never stops. So, where should we start?
Okay, let's kick off with something pretty huge, Coinbase.
Yes, the S&P 500 news.
Exactly. As of May 19th, they're in. First crypto-focused company. That feels significant.
Oh, it absolutely is. I mean,
I
being
bet.
added to the S&P 500,
Yeah.
that's a major benchmark for U.S. stocks.
And they're replacing Discover Financial Services, right? A known name.
Precisely. So it's not just symbolic. It really signals kind of growing acceptance from the traditional finance world.
Like the industry is maturing.
Maturing, becoming more legitimate in the eyes of, big investors, institutions. It could mean more fund flows into crypto stuff just because Coinbase is now in those big index funds everyone tracks.
Okay, now for something completely different, but also really interesting. Former President Trump.
Right. His involvement in crypto seems to be stepping up quite a bit.
Yeah, it's not just talk anymore. We're seeing things like the TRMP memecoin connection, this idea of a national digital asset reserve.
And he's openly pushing for crypto-friendly laws.
Yeah.
So it's quite direct engagement.
It definitely, well, it raises some questions, doesn't it, when you see personal ventures mixing with potential policymaking.
It does. Whenever a public figure with influence on policy also has sort of financial ties to that same area, you naturally get ethical questions, potential conflicts of interest, that sort of thing.
Something to keep an eye on for sure.
Definitely. It adds another layer to the whole crypto regulation debate.
Okay, let's shift to market predictions. Anthony Scaramucci, he's got a very bullish outlook for Bitcoin.
Yeah, very bullish. He's talking, what, $180,000 to $200,000 by the end of 2025.
That's a big leap. What's the reasoning there, according to the sources?
Well, it seems to boil down to a few things. He's pointing to just more people using Bitcoin globally, more wallets being created.
Okay, so growing adoption.
Right. And also the demand for those Bitcoin ETFs we've seen launching. They make it easier for traditional investors to get in, so that could push up demand and, well, the price.
Makes sense. Now, switching over to the UK. New rules on the horizon for crypto reporting.
Yes, this is coming from HMRC, their tax authority, starting January 1st, 2026.
Okay, so still a little ways off, but what does it involve?
Basically, crypto exchanges and platforms will need to collect more detailed info on their users, personal details, transaction details.
And report that to HMRC.
That seems to be the plan, yes. The stated goal is pretty clear, making sure people report and pay taxes on their crypto gains. Tackling tax avoidance.
So bringing crypto more into the standard tax framework.
Exactly. As crypto gets bigger, governments everywhere are looking at how to, integrate it. Tax is a big part of that.
Right. Now, on a less positive note, Coinbase again, but this time with a cyber attack.
Yes. And the way this one happened is, well, concerning. They're saying it involved bribing insiders.
Bribing employees or contractors overseas.
That's what they disclosed, yeah. And through that insider access, the attackers got hold of sensitive customer data.
Oh, no. Like what kind of data?
Things like images of government IDs, parts of social security numbers. Pretty sensitive stuff.
Definitely. Were actual crypto funds stolen? That's always the first worry.
Fortunately, no. Coinbase was clear that customer funds were secure.
Okay, that's good news at least.
It is, but it still affected, they said, under 1% of their monthly active users. And the cost to fix things, beef up security, it's estimated between $180 million and $400 million.
Wow, that's a hefty price tag. A real reminder about security risks.
Absolutely. Even for the big players, it's an ongoing battle.
Okay, back to the U.S. regulatory scene. There's a Senate vote coming up on something called the Genius Act.
Yes, the Genius Act. This one is focused specifically on stablecoins.
Like Tether, USDC, those kinds of tokens pegged to the dollar.
Exactly. The bill aims to set up clear rules for the companies that issue these stablecoins.
And what would those rules be?
Key things include requiring issuers to hold reserves of really liquid, safe assets.
Yeah.
Basically cash or cash equivalents to fully back the stable coins in circulation.
Makes sense. To ensure they actually hold their value.
Right. And also complying with standard anti-money laundering and counterterrorism financing laws, like banks have to.
So this could be a pretty major step for U.S. crypto regulation if it passes, bringing oversight to a key part of the market.
It really could. Stablecoins are crucial for trading for DeFi. So clear rules could, boost confidence and maybe encourage more institutional use.
And speaking of stablecoins getting bigger, we saw analysis from Deutsche Bank suggesting they're nearing mainstream adoption.
Yeah, their analysts are pointing to the sheer scale already. Market cap around $246 billion.
Wow.
And get this, transaction volume last year involving stablecoins hit $28 trillion.
28 trillion. That's astronomical.
It really is. It shows they're already being used heavily, likely within the crypto ecosystem for trading and transfers. So Deutsche Bank sees this, plus potential regulation, like the Genius Act or the Stable Act, as paving the way for wider use in, actual payments.
Interesting. Okay, something else impacting the market this month. Token unlocks. Over $4.4 billion worth.
Yes, a significant amount. This involves several big projects. Aptos, Arbitrum, Athena, Starknet are mentioned.
And what does unlock mean here for
Yeah.
people who might not know?
So often, early investors or team members get tokens, but they're locked up for a while. They can't sell them.
Right.
An unlock date is when those restrictions lift and the tokens become tradable on the market.
Ah, okay. So potentially more supply hitting the market.
Potentially, yeah. It can lead to more trading activity and sometimes more volatility as people who receive these unlocked tokens decide whether to sell, hold, or use them in the project's ecosystem. It's something traders definitely watch.
Got it. So despite potential volatility and the security issues we mentioned, the overall crypto market cap, it's climbed past $3.4 trillion globally.
That's the number being reported, yeah. A huge figure.
What's driving that continued growth, do you think?
It seems like a mix of things. Bitcoin's definitely been strong again, which pulls the whole market up.
True.
But also, there's growing interest in tokenizing real-world assets.
Yeah.
Putting things like real estate or bonds on the blockchain.
Right, RWA tokenization.
Exactly. And more businesses are actually starting to use blockchain tech for various things, not just crypto trading. So broader adoption seems to be a factor too. It suggests the industry is maybe maturing beyond just speculation.
And finally, let's touch on Consensus 2025. That big crypto conference just happened in Toronto.
Right, always a major event. Sounds like it reflected crypto's growing influence.
Yeah, lots of prominent speakers. Scaramucci was there again, Eric Trump, Vitalik Buterin from Ethereum.
A real mix of finance, politics, and core crypto development. What were the hot topics?
Well, let's talk about DeFi, obviously. Tokenomics, the economics behind these tokens, and also real-world uses for blockchain, moving beyond just finance.
So kind of mirroring that market cap growth, looking at utility.
Exactly. It feels like the conference was a good snapshot of where the industry's focus is right now, innovation, but also integration and influence. Okay, so wrapping up this deep dive, wow, it's been quite a week, May 12th to 19th.
Definitely no shortage of news.
We've seen Coinbase hit the S&P 500, a huge mainstream signal. Then there's the complex situation with political figures getting more involved.
Right, and regulations evolving, like in the UK, potential new rules in the US for stablecoins. Plus that stark reminder about security with the Coinbase breach.
And yet, the market cap keeps growing, innovation continues with things discussed at Consensus, stablecoins are processing trillions.
It's really a picture of an industry in major transition, isn't it? You've got this push towards legitimacy fitting into the old world.
While simultaneously building this whole new decentralized world.
Exactly. It highlights that crypto and blockchain aren't really on the fringe anymore. They're becoming, increasingly woven into the bigger financial and tech picture.
That really seems to be the key theme. So maybe the final thought for you listening is, how do all these different pieces, the adoption, the regulation, the risks, the innovation, how they all fit together?
Yeah, how might they collectively shape where this whole crypto ecosystem goes next? And maybe more importantly, what does that evolution mean for the traditional financial systems we all use and, well, for your own participation in it down the road?
Lots to think about. We'll be back next time to unpack more.